For most people, tipping is first and foremost about service. Around 3/4 of adults, 77%, say the quality of the service they receive is a major factor in deciding whether and how much to tip. None of the other factors we asked about comes close. I'm kind of the mind, because this was like an old, I don't even know if it was a gag. He just said it at the end of one of his like stand-up routines.
Yeah.
Leave 20%. Just like, even if the only way you don't leave 20% is if like the waiter gets up on your table and takes a shit on the fucking table.
Yeah. So I agree. My take on that type of thing is that I tend to like always try and do the 20%.
Yeah.
And my reasoning behind it is that one of them is it's like the philanthropy of it, which is that I don't do a lot for society. You know, I mostly go out. I'll be honest about it.
Hey man,
I go out and I like to drink.
Cheers.
You know? So if I'm making some money, then we should all. I think that like as regular working people, like you should always have like that should be in the back of your mind, like that somebody else has less than you, but they worked just as hard. So how can you share what you've been blessed with, let's say, you know, with other people? So I tend to look at like my bartender and I'm like, you are doing such a service for society and for me. So this is my contribution back. I'm not going to save kids with cancer because they're not going to serve me drinks. So that's like lost on me, right? But maybe your kid has cancer. I don't know. I'm going to give you the money so that you can get treatment for somebody else.
I'll make it work in my head.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna do these mental gymnastics like that, you know? But I kind of approach it in that way. On top of that, though, I feel like it's just the sentiment of just the general contribution, like doing what you think to be something which is contributive to the person who is doing this work for you. So it doesn't even need to be this like philanthropic thing that I'm like kind of trying to like, you know, shoehorn my way into. Yeah. Instead, it could just be that this person like did the best that they could with the situation they had. And I do try, like, while I'm as much of a piece of shit as I perceive pretty much every other human being to be, and I stand by that.
We're all garbage people.
Yeah, exactly. But like sometimes you get somebody who's, you know, your waiter, or your bartender, your whatever, right? And they might not be completely on their game that day. Maybe they're having a shitty day.
Sure.
You know, maybe you have off nights. Yeah, you have off nights. Yeah. Exactly. Like, are you perfect every day?
Nope.
Do you deserve to have your fucking wages stifled in some way?
That is actually a very good point.
Day? Yeah. You know, but that's what happens to you when you are working for.
That is the volatility of that pay structure.
Yeah. So I try and give that grace. I try and give that grace. That's why I always start at that 20%, not because I'm a generous guy, but because I'm trying to look at it and just be like, imagine if somebody fucking cut my wage every time that I had a shitty day.
Yeah.
You know, because not for nothing, like, where would you be?
Or something that
I'd be broke. You know, shitty days I got.
Or something that's not even like, within your control. Like what I said, like if the food is crap and then you get a fucking lower tip because the cook screwed up.
Yeah.
That's not your fault.
And that's what I mean. It's that's why we should, I wish that people thought about it that way.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know what it is it a lot of people do not have multi-level thinking with things, and like it's kind of like a base level thing. It's like one thing annoyed them. Now that this person is persona non grata to me, fuck them. Blah blah blah. It's like people don't. That's why I said I wish people would just work in the service.
And you also got to keep in mind that these waiters and waitresses, their base pay is like, at least from when I remember, it was like $2.50. Yeah,
$2 and change.
Yeah, $2.
I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's slightly.
It might as well. We can just call it close to zero.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about what
it's like they're got to make.
You're making
pay themselves too.
100% of your wages off of tips.
Yep.
And presumably, and I think this is a fair extrapolation, because you know that that's how you make your money. You're doing the best that you can. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's not like shitty fucking waiters and waitresses and bartenders and whatnot.
There's shitty people in every industry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, does everybody belong in that industry?
Probably
no.
not.
Maybe you should go and make $20 an hour over a Costco or whatever it is. But the bottom line is that the majority of people who find themselves in that field for an extended period of time, it's because they are willing to put forth the work to do so. Yeah. And it is a challenging job. I would not be able to. Basically,
they typically know what they're getting into.
Yeah, but you're doing it because this is how you're going to pay your bills. And if you're exemplary, then you can get a great wage. And if you're working at the wrong place or whatever, then you can still make a living.
But the thing
with family,
the thing with that is, even if you are exemplary every fucking night, you still might get a fucking $0 tip.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because
Yeah.
of
Just because
the
you're
temperament of whoever you're serving.
And even beyond that, it's like you're so, and you kind of said this before, I forget your exact wording, but it's like I go over to my bar of choice in the area, and sometimes I'll walk in there and I'm the only one there.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you as the bartender, you have to hang out until close. You're working an 8-hour shift, and maybe I'm the only person who comes in, you know?
Yeah.
So now you have to go home with your pockets empty.
Yeah.
You got to put food on the table for your child, you know, for your animals and so on and so forth. And so I feel like if you enjoy these services, you know, I like bars. So then you should be cognizant of that.
Yes.
You know, because
Yes.
if you don't appreciate things and don't put forth the effort to provide for people who do services for you, then it goes away. You know,
That's fair. Yeah.
If you don't want to tip, cook yourself. Make your own drink.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
nobody tips me when I cook at home.
And on top of that, I will say this, that people who go out to the bar, because again, obviously I love to, and I spend on a fucking burger $15 that I could have made at home for $2.
Yeah.
I'm
And
going
better.
out to the bar. Exactly. I go out to the bar because I want to.
Yeah.
So paying the tip is a part of that.
Yeah.
If you don't think that you have the money or whatever your situation is to compensate the people who did this work for you, well, then you can't afford a $15 burger.
It's the
In
same
which
people.
case, you go and fucking cook at home.
It's
And
the
there's
same
nothing wrong
people
with
who
that.
are happy to pay that $50 to $70 surcharge to get the tickets to go see their favorite band,
Yeah.
and not bat a goddamn eye.
Yeah. Yeah. But then won't pay somebody.
And then won't
a
pay
bill.
somebody
Yeah.
like $15 on their $30 fucking food order.
No, I got 70 cents on a $50 bill. There we are.
Well, I mean, you know.
Apparently.
And it's like
Well, one of
most
those
people that
pennies were
are in those industries, either waiting tables or bartending specifically, I'll speak
Yeah.
to, they're good at it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they're still there because they are good at it. They're providing a service to, I mean, there are older people that come in because they have nothing else to do.
Your bartender. And
So, like,
obviously-
you are part therapist, you
Yeah.
are lending an
priest
ear.
is where I was going.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
a modern day priest.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what a lot of these bartenders are doing. I mean, it's also cut with the assholes they got to deal with
I
that
don't
are
get the
like,
touching from a bartender that I get from a priest.
what?